Hey guys, it's Brian Sewell here at RJ, or should we say RJ and Sewell, back with you every week on Wednesdays from 4 to 4:30, except for the week of the 24th. We're going to come on a Monday. We're going to go on that 23rd. I'm going to be at leadership conference for our company. But now I'm glad to have you here, RJ. How you feeling, boss?
Man, I feel good. A little stressed. I was running into the call a little bit late, coming through Chicago traffic, but wow. But feeling good, man. We had a good day today in the office.
Good. I know you were out marketing. I know we didn't. I didn't make the breakfast. How was the breakfast? Let me put your business on the screen here. Here we go.
It was excellent. It was
Good,
excellent.
good. I got to get out there on the next one, man. Uh,
Yeah.
but no, I'm grateful. We had a closing today. Client we helped out. Client dear to my heart. He's a good friend, but he's also we got to do a streamline for him, save him about $700 a month on a VA Earl. So if you're a veteran, and I normally don't do that for or you need to do a streamline, save some money. Look, anybody can use $600-700 a month. Did I just do that?
Absolutely.
$600-700 a month. If you don't know what that means, God bless you. But it comes up a little bit too much now, I think. Anyway, no, but that's what we're here for, man. We're here to make their day, and he's going through some personal stuff. I'm not going to say, well, I can say because I'm not saying his name, but he's got some cancer. He's dealing with cancer, and my
Mm.
wife makes these amazing cookies for those that follow. Plug. She made him. Didn't make us none. Let's just get that out the way. Made him some butter pecan, some Biscoff, and some chocolate chip. And I did call her and say my team was really happy with her. Not happy with her, but clients loved it. We're not happy. She didn't make us some cookies.
Yeah.
God
Well,
bless you.
so next week she got to get that right. She got to make it up
Oh,
to
we talking about next week. Today is what, Wednesday? I expect cookies Thursday or Friday. But we're doing good. How you doing overall, man?
Good, man. I'm really excited for 2026. Being back in the agency chair, looking forward to being able to help folks out with their insurance and answer questions for folks. That's a big part of what I enjoy doing. So
Yeah, I can tell
yeah.
you have a big impact, man. That's the thing. I know you do this, but I was talking to my coach, having Rick Hokel. He's a senior VP at our company for our Cherry Creek division, and we meet once a month, twice a month, and we go through things. And he was asking me how I felt, and I just tell him my cup is overflowing right now, just because we got to pour in, and I'll share a little bit to some men in our Bible study yesterday. Uh,
Hmm.
I love pouring into people, having an impact on people. We get to do that. Yeah, you sell insurance, you educate insurance. I do mortgages, but I think our real job is to have a positive impact. And I'm just going to say it: be Jesus for others.
Absolutely.
You know, we can make all the money in the world, um, but it means absolutely nothing if we're not having an impact and changing someone's life.
Absolutely. In a positive way.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we don't
Absolutely.
change it in a negative way. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many conversations. RJ, that I had today that I want to, man, bring up, just not telling clients, just things that we can stop from doing or properly preparing. Man, I can share an encouraging story, which I'll bring up, but I don't want to just jump right in. Let me just say this: the purpose of why RJ and I decided to do. We've been long friends for 20 years, man. It's
Yeah.
that we connected. God put it. We were right across the street from each other. In Palos, I had my own company back then, Morale Home Mortgage. He was selling insurance, or you were selling an agency right across the street back
I
then.
was actually in leadership then, sales leadership.
Right. So you're in leadership. We both go to Life Changers, didn't know it.
Hmm.
And then we connected from there. And man, God, has really, I'm grateful for that relationship. Another relationship that came out of that is our good friend Gilbert Russell, man. That dude, I consider him my grandfather. And don't take that if he's listening. I call you old, but I like, you're my elder, man. I bow down and he just pour into, he knows the word. And, he's just having good people around you to make you better. I think it's so
Hmm.
important. I'm grateful for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, man, hey, you mentioned that you had a closing earlier today, and I know a lot of things are going on in your industry right now. You all are watching the feds and what they're doing with interest rates. So, tell us a little bit about, what's going on there and how it's impacting people who are trying to buy homes.
Great question, RJ. First of all, I do think it's always a time to buy.
Hmm.
I think, and I'm not just saying it for a benefit. Whether you're using me as a loan officer or not, I think that, and remind me to bring this story up. Regardless of the market, real estate goes up in value long term. If you're trying to do a fix in a year, no, maybe not, right? And sometimes that happens. But regarding what the market is doing right now, about 2 weeks ago, which is pretty much when I got this guy, we closed this deal in 2 weeks. Yep, we did. And when President Trump, I'm gonna be respectful. I think we should always be respectful of whoever's in office. And he decided that he's going to buy 200 billion of mortgage-backed securities, right? That made rates go down. The news, right? That was on a Friday. Monday, rates went up. And that's because they're investigating Jerome Powell. And, like him or not, I mean, I think some things you got to make the tough decisions. I don't agree with him not cutting rates. I'm not thinking our residents. I'm just saying, I just think that some of that is him being stubborn because he wants to fight. And I think they fight like little two kids. I'm going to take my ball and go home. And he knows he's getting replaced. So I do think long-term rates are going to come down, but I'm going to say, like we talked about last week, when rates come down, it impacts real estate to where you have more people on the dance floor. Now we're both married, but I might get in trouble for this. If you were single, right, and you were on the dance floor, and there's a lot of women on the dance floor, it's cool. Rates are up. But when the rates go down, there's not so much. You're just like stuck by yourself. That was a bad example. Let's use music. But RJ, you get what I'm saying, right?
Get what you're saying.
RJ's a Kappa too, so he's probably going around doing his dance, head down, doing the boogie.
Back in the day. I leave that to the young guys now.
Listen, can we edit that out?
It's stuck forever, man.
Oh man, you can't delete nothing off the internet. But I don't know where I was going. But no, the point being is that you buy now or you refi now. Maybe you can wait a little bit to refi, but you take advantage of less competition, especially on the purchase side. When rates come down, you're gonna have more competition.
Absolutely.
And it's a different story to do with this. So yeah, do I think rates are gonna come down? Yeah, eventually.
Okay. So, I know when a lot of times when the rates go, and I'll tell you this. So many, many, many years ago, long before I even met you, I was a mortgage underwriter. I think I've shared this story with you before.
HBC, right?
It was household. Yeah, household. Yep, good memory. So, the rates always impacted our business, right? Our volume of business. When the rates were lower, we did more business. And when the rates went up a little bit, things would slow down. Now, back then, this was in the early 90s. So I'm telling my age a little bit here. This is in the early 90s.
I'm going to drink water when I'm ready to make fun of you, so I don't.
We'll keep drinking that water. But so when we talked about rates being high back then, the rates were a good rate back then was 7%. What's a good rate that consider? Yeah, I know, we came off of this amazing period in time when the rates were so low that, it was almost like you weren't paying much interest at all. Now what's considered a good rate today?
It depends. That's a loaded question, right? So yeah, rates low sixes, high fives right now, somewhere in that ballpark. But if you're in a 7.5% rate, and this is going to bring me to my story. I knew you were going to set me up. If you got 6.5, you're in a better situation. So I had a client that we're still working on today. She looked us up, and she was. Man, she's beat down. I got my notes right here with her, and she just is like, man, I'm embarrassed. And we got her through our pilot program, so she's with Guild already, and she's just like, I'm embarrassed, man. I'm down on myself. I got so much debt, and she really didn't have a lot of debt. She got like $10,000 in debt. She's behind on some deals, and she makes good money. And she's in a situation so her rate is 5.125. And it's a good rate, right? But she's struggling tight because, some debt and some cars. She overextended herself on a car. She got like a 1,200 plus car note. And it's just been tough on her. Other things that come up, life will hit you. Life will beat you. If you're alive, it will hit you.
Mhm.
You just got to prepare for it, right? And we're not here to judge. And she just felt so down and out. And I'm gonna tell you what I did. I took notes, but normal way of being a loan officer, what we do, we like to solve problems. If you're a good loan officer, you like to solve problems.
Mhm.
But if you really care about somebody, the heart comes in. And she was beating herself. I just listened to her beat herself up for like 3 or 4 minutes, man. And I honestly prayed. I'm like, man, God help me.
Yeah.
And because I felt bad for her situation, and hopefully we figure out a way to help her because she's got a low credit score.
Mhm.
But what I told her, I said, let's think of something positive. And I said, let me give you something positive, right? You've been in your house for how long? Like almost 10 years, 9 years. I said, you paid, what she paid like 160 something thousand for the house 9 years ago. It's worth close to 300,000. I said, so your house
Awesome.
has almost doubled in value.
Mhm.
Well, it has pretty much. I said, so yes, you're in a tight situation and there's some strategies that we're going to have to figure out put together. But if she was worried about losing her house, she's not late on her mortgage. What I told her, I said, look, we'll look at some options, see if some adjustment you can make. Maybe there's some other money you can move some things around to get you back on your feet until we can
Mhm.
able to refinance. And maybe we can. I don't know yet, right? We have special programs. But the point is, I think in life, and this is where I'm going with this in a bigger perspective, you can find yourself beat up, how you view things, right? And you
Mhm.
look at negative. I'm beat. This is going wrong. My relationship is going wrong. That's going wrong. But the good book says if there be any good thing, think on that. Because when we meditate on the bad things, it brings stress. And so I
Absolutely.
was in a situation, yes, we're in loans, we're here to make sales, but I think RJ, you agree with me. We're here to have a positive impact. So in that situation, and I got to call her, I'm gonna call her tomorrow, but we put together, but I was like, you got a ton of equity. So if you
Mhm.
had to, you could sell to put yourself in a better situation, right? Because you can't take out a
Mhm.
line of credit. Or there's other things you could potentially do. Um, find something positive. You're alive, you're healthy, right? Because if you sit up and you look at your situation all in negative, it'll stress the body out.
Yeah.
RJ, you're in insurance. You can talk on this more. Um, but I think that's from my perspective. No, did we solve her loan problem right there? But she kind of laughed a little because she's like, here, I'm telling the stranger. And I talked to her for a good half an hour. I'm like, no, whether we can help you or not, we'll put something together for you. But you got to find something. And I didn't know I was going to go through all the details to bring your spirits up, because too much stress and that anxiety will put you to death.
It literally will. Yeah.
Right. So the positive thing for her is that worst case scenario, if she has to sell, like she's got 2 kids, you pay your realtor, whatever, you walking away with over 100 grand.
Mhm.
That's a restart. That's a good restart. That's better than you. And I said, I told her, if you were paying rent all this time, right? She pays like 1,700 a month. Good old state of Illinois, all the doggone taxes.
Mhm. Mm.
All that money would have been going in the garbage. But no,
Absolutely.
you're in a situation where that house is going up in value. So find something positive. It helps.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the reason I asked that question about a good interest rate, and I know that's all subjective, I wanted people to get perspective. The rates that we saw in the recent years were historically low. And we're not likely to see those kinds of rates again for a very long time, if ever.
Never.
I think the rates as they sit today are actually pretty doggone good. I really do. If I remember back correctly to the early '90s when I was in mortgages, I think the challenging, or what we considered a challenging rate, was like the higher end of 8. you
Right.
know but when people saw those 6s and low 7s, they got excited and they got in the market and they bought and they refied. So it's all about perspective. I want people to understand that these rates that we're looking at today are pretty good.
Well, yeah, and then you got to think that like back then when you're talking like 8 and 7% of your paying points, all that type of stuff, you know, housing was a little cheaper too.
It
But
was.
yeah, I mean, you're still at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know if you agree with me or not on this. The values of homes go up in general. If you use 3, 4, 5%, if you're locking in on a rate now, you have the potential to refinance in the future, right? Whereas you can lock in and secure that. That's the highest price you will ever pay on a house, unless you take out cash and and taxes go up. But I'm saying, as far as being fixed at this price, if you paid 300,000 for a house, that's
Mhm.
your max amount. You're going to be there. Where you're paying rent, it ain't about you paying for the rent. Are you going to lower rent?
Never.
Yeah, right. So you have a controlled fixed cost that you can, and all they can do is get better, right? You know,
Mhm.
if and when rates come down, and most look, like him or don't like him, he's pushing pressure to get the rates down. They're coming down. He's handpicked who he wants to put in office next, right? They're going to come down. Now, how that impacts the rest of the economy, nobody knows. No one's Houdini, right? But overall, will it get relief? Because we're in a situation, RD, and you tell me what you think about this. We have an affordability issue in general.
We absolutely do.
We do need to free up some things with different strategies.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, as we look around, everything else is going up too on prices, right? You know, I'll tell you, I'm a member at Costco, and I went last weekend and I spent over $300. I didn't even have a full cart. And
That's
I'm
normal,
looking, what was that?
That's normal.
No, actually, I used to be able to get a
I'm
cart.
talking about now.
Oh, now, yes, it is normal now. But wow, it was kind of a shocker because we used to go into Costco, we would get a full cart of groceries for 200 and something dollars, maybe one something depending. But for $300+ and the cart wasn't even half, it really wasn't even half full. It was, it almost floored me, So I know that
I
consumers
got
are
3 boys, RJ.
feeling
How
it
do you think I
everywhere.
feel?
You know what? I don't know. I don't want to know. Man, that I can only imagine. I know how I ate when I was their age, so
They
I can
all eat
only
the same
imagine.
way. They
Yeah,
all eat the same way. All
I
of
think it goes straight to their feet.
them. Well, they big boys.
Yeah, yeah,
Tall. One of them's a little stocky. And
hmm
they all tall.
yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got some questions and things on here. I just, I wanted to share a little bit of that, RJ, just because, I think current market wise, I agree with you. I think it's a great time to buy. I think rates could only come down, but you're not in a bad rate situation. It's not like you're paying 9% or 8%. Back when
Correct.
RJ was buying homes, they were 10%. But all right, that's the only one. I'm gonna be good for the rest of the
Hey, what happened to that bottle of water?
Oh, my bad.
There you go.
Oh man, I'm being better.
All right.
Here's one I saw there. How can mortgage lenders and insurance agents work together to better serve clients?
That's a good one. So I think it all comes down to, we talked to, so you talked a little bit about the mortgage side of it. When it comes to insurance, it really comes down to, I want people to forget about, finding the cheapest insurance, because sometimes the cheapest insurance means you have almost no insurance. And that means that when it's time for you to use that policy, it won't be there for you, or it won't perform the way you think it will. Um, you have to find an insurance agent who is an advisor for you. They're going to ask you some good questions. They're going to listen to your replies, and they're going to help you build a customized policy of protection around those needs that you have, you and your family. Um, if you walk into an agency and you say, hey, I need a homeowner's policy or I need an auto, and they come up with a policy for you without asking too many questions, you're probably in bad shape. You need somebody who's going to find out who you are so that they can get the right coverages for you. And when it comes to a mortgage lender and an insurance agent working together to make that happen, I think that relationship is synergistic. I rely on Brian. Brian feeds me, referrals, and I know that when he sends me referrals, I know my job is to educate. you know um and I know Brian has done that on the mortgage side. I know you've done that. So I think that relationship, working together in that fashion where education is the primary goal. The goal is not pulling as many dollars out of your pocket as I can. That's not who we are.
No,
So
no, I agree.
yeah.
It's important that you work with a good team, guys, that it's going to look out for you. That's why, I even shared that story. we got a lot of them that came in, man. So I get this question a lot too. How important is credit score in the mortgage approval process, and what can buyers do to improve theirs? That's
Mm.
loaded, right? The credit score is very important. Although Fannie has lightened their guidelines on that, right? So they don't really look at credit as much. But there's a thing called, and RJ, I relate to this, insurance companies, or PMI, right? So some insurance companies have jumped on board with that, but not all of them, right? So that does have an impact on the score. But here's what I would tell you: the higher your score, the better you are as far as with rates, not only with mortgage rates, um, car rates, credit card rates. RJ, I mean, does credit impact insurance? I think it does, right? Well,
It actually does, yeah. We have a thing we call the insurance-based credit score, and across our industry, there's an impact there. And when you think about insurance rates, it all comes back to numbers. How many losses have we had or experienced in a given area? How many or how much money has been paid out in a certain area? Um, I saw this commercial that say you shouldn't pay for your neighbor's driving habits. We all do,
mhm.
and that's never going to change. That is the foundation of insurance. So don't be hoodwinked. Don't be deceived. We all pay because we're all paying into a pool of money. That's where the claims dollars come from. So,
Good point.
but yes, to get back to credit, yes, it does impact it, and it's going to, if the stronger your credit score is, the better your insurance rate is going to be.
Yeah, and they got risk-based pricing, but there are some things that we can. I mean, we have programs and stuff to help you. I mean, the thing is, and I see this. Where do you start? I'm going to say, like I told the lady earlier, you tackle something small first, right? I mean, everybody's situation is different, but you may not agree with everything that. What's our guy name? Why can't I think of his name? Dave Ramsey.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Dave Ramsey.
But he does have, like, he talks about the snowball effect, right? You pay down the small, you go to the next one, because it makes you feel good, right? When you tackle a small task, you go to the next task. So even if you owe $100, just knock it out. It might not bump your score up, but at the end of the day, that's something you don't have to worry about anymore, and you go on to the next, and then to the next. And you start, and there's companies that can help you with that stuff. But I think that it's important that you write it all down. Like I told this young lady earlier today, let's get a picture. If you go hide, regardless how big or small the problem is, you may not even know. I mean, she was saying 10,000 in debt. I'm like, dude, I've seen people. Heck, I paid off some debt when I was younger. So that's in $100,000 in debt, right? $200,000 in debt, and I'm like, let's look and see. Let's write down the good. Let's write down the bad, and then pray for the solutions. One thing, and RJ, I'm gonna let you take it over. Guys, sneak it up on us already. One thing that I got from Pastor Dick out, and I thought he had a really huge impact on my life. Obviously, he got us together. Is that he said you do three things when you come across stress, and I this has stuck with me forever, man. And I do those. He's like, you pray, right? You take communion, right? And you give a significant gift, and that doesn't always mean financially. That could be time. You sow a significant seed into someone's life. You don't have something going on. Maybe you're able to take some time and help out the homeless without hashtagging it, right? Or help somebody else and just do something kind for someone. And I found, like, whenever I've done that or just sown into someone, that my life is positive impact, and not just financially, but just emotionally. When you give, it makes a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that, and prayer being the first thing on that list. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, so I want you to throw this answer out here for us, and this will probably take us to the end of our call today, but I want you to share with folks, if they're getting ready to look to buy a home, even if they haven't identified the property yet. I have my opinion about this, and I'll share that. I always think it's a good idea to get pre-approved before you go shopping. That way you know what you qualify for. What are your thoughts on that?
100%. I agree with you. I don't think just getting pre-approved. I think, yes, that's important. Have a good conversation before you even go out and look at houses. But being pre-approved and knowing what your buying power is, that's kind of like two separate things. So like if I left it up to a spaceship company, we're gonna leave it at that, right? Hey, run my stuff, and if you get pre-approved in 5 minutes or less, guys, like what RJ said earlier about you not knowing, you're making one of the largest purchases you're gonna make in your life. This should be at least a half an hour conversation, right? And that's with your app being done. Right. Mm-hmm. So go over your goals and plans. So you might qualify for $500,000, but you want your payment to be $2,000 a month. It ain't gonna be that in Illinois, and not with the rates. So you need to know what I want to pay and what I qualify for. How much am I willing to expand on that? How much do I want to put down? You know, what's my desired payment? What's my desired out of pocket? You know, what is my goals? How long am I going to be here? Right. So I'm giving you a lot. So that's, I mean, it's so many questions that come up, and I gave you 3-4 questions right there in 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that can impact you buying a home. Am I in the right school district? What's the goal? What's the most important things to you about buying a home? Yeah. What are some of the challenges you have? So yes, you should get fully approved, and not in 5 minutes.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I think it makes the process go a lot smoother. I think it helps you to set your focus, like you said, in terms of, what kind of house can I buy? Where can I buy? And those are all important things. I think the first 3 rules in real estate are location, location, location. That's 1, 2, and 3. And we'll get that verified when we have our friend Mo come on in a few weeks and spend some time with us. But
did you get him on for next week? When is he coming on?
I think it's going to be the 23rd. Well, but I'll confirm it with him.
Oh, that's right. Marquise is coming on next week. And then we got him on the 23rd. He's coming on. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, but hey, I think that brings us to our time. Man, always a pleasure spending some time with you. We have to do more face-to-face. It's been a while since we used to play ball together. I don't know if I can do that anymore, but I can shoot around with you.
I'm gonna challenge you to want to do it again. I haven't played in about 4 or 5 years, but I'm starting to lose a little weight, and I'm starting to get the itch. And I haven't had the itch in about 5 years.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I don't know if I can go full court. I could probably do half court right now to you, but no, I've started to get the itch. Want to play a little bit more. So it's one of my goals to start playing without being hurt later on.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Yeah. Now, guys, if you found this impactful, I mean, do me a favor. I know Facebook tries to suppress some of this stuff. Look, tell your friends, share. We're going to be on here regularly. We're going to bring some more impactful things. We're going to have an agent coming on next week. Marquise coming on. Mo's coming on in a couple of weeks. I'm going to have my appraiser come on, working that out. We're going to get an attorney on, right? RJ, you're going to work on that. We Absolutely. Just want to give you good people here to give you solid information that can help you have an impactful show that you learn things from, and you can use this wherever you're going to buy. And hopefully you give myself and RJ a chance to be your financial insurance agent and lender. So, it's always a pleasure working with you. We didn't get the chance to get to the sports side. One of my good friends, he works in New York as a scout, and he's just been blowing me up. But he's from here. He's like, man, the Bulls are trading everybody. So we got to talk about that next week. So I was like, did they get Giannis? No, we just trading everybody. We had like 8 point guards, and they got rid of all of them. So, I don't know. So RJ, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. Hopefully they got a direction that they're going.
Hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. We know the Bears are doing all right, though.
Absolutely.
But again, if you need us, give us a call or just simply shoot us an email. RJ, what's your email address so they know how to get you?
My email address is rjames1@amfam.com. That's short for American Family, AmFam.
And
rjames1@amfam.com.
And then I'll put mine in there as well. And that's RJ's. It's Richard James. It's already got it in there, boss. I'm fast, man. I told you again, we're not dealing with that 10% interest rate stuff right there. My bad. Hold on. My bad.
Yeah, get the water.
I miss you, bro. We used to have a ton of fun. We got to get back to doing it.
Absolutely.
All right. You guys take care. Be blessed. And we'll see you next week. And give us a call or email us. I'd love to help you out.
See you next week.